Hey tubers, Bart coming at you in consecutive days. Mail day. I feel like I'm setting unrealistic expectations for what my mail days are going to be with these last couple. I usually have good stuff, but it ain't going to be this good of stuff consecutively. But 3 cards in from mail, and then one from the eBay turned PSA vault in Delaware. Sent in a nice sleeve, but not the super fitted sleeve like the eBay or like the eBay authentication ones and stuff like that, because those ones fit so well. I don't ever take them out because I can still display them like that and stuff like that. This one, not so much. It's got too much excess on the outside, so it's getting broke out. Assuming I can crack it out. Maybe it's, oh, it's in 2 of them. I kind of dig that, I guess. But I wanted to show that, and that's why I didn't really know there was 2 of them. But wasn't specifically on my radar. This player is always on the radar, and I did always want a T205. I'd still like to add the Christy Mathewson one day, but I was watching this because it popped up, nicely centered, great color, and a fresh label. And then the seller sent an offer, and I was like, I can do that. And that is an all-time beauty. So check that out. T205. Let's see if we can get a good spot on it. There we go. T205 Cy Young. Beautiful card. The downgrades are because of those corners where they're, missing some material, just roughed up. And that is perfect in my book, because then you get all of the other great aspects, to include a price, compared to what you would get if those corners weren't like that, but everything else was still just the same. So, beautiful card. I've seen some Ty Cobbs that aren't ridiculously priced in T205 lately as well. Getting tempted getting tempted towards stuff that wasn't even on my list. A little bit of darkness up there in that corner. It's still really cool. Very clear print and everything like that. Very small print. But that's an all-time great right there. Beautiful card. And then we'll go oldest to newest. I'm just a sucker for these. Me and Scotty Tradition were talking flags not too long ago. I was on the search and found one that I thought might be he'd like, but I was looking for American flags, and every once in a while I toss in like a Maryland flag because that's where I'm from, but I haven't lived in there for forever. I'm across the river in the Potomac in Virginia right now, but did click on watch on a couple of American flags, to include this one. Total frivolous luxury pickup for me, it doesn't even go to any set or anything like that, just cool display items. So the initial bin prices just was like, I don't need it that bad, but you fingers crossed, you click watch and you wait a week or 2 and see if they drop the price, and they dropped the price enough on this one that I was like, yep, I'll snatch it up now. So beautifully colored, a 6, I guess, for the edges and things. But it's a really good looking 6. Really good looking 6. So pretty happy about that. And that is 1956 Flags of the World. The Statue of Liberty, no less, and the Capitol, and Mount Rushmore. What else we got? I know the trees. I'm sure there was a purpose and significance to that plane up there. Moving along, this has been on my want list for several years. I was on the cusp of buying this card. Story time, right? On the cusp of buying this card, and probably had like 6, 7 of them on my watch list, and they were only like 90 bucks back then. And then the world fell apart, and the hobby blew out of into another stratosphere, basically, and then, you know, through COVID and things like that. And this quickly was not a $90 card anymore. And I was real salty about that, real salty that I hadn't picked it up, but did not let it go off my radar despite the price change. It has come back down, not anywhere near 90 bucks anymore, but it has come back down. And I think it's just one of the great action photos that you can get of Michael Jordan. So the 88 Fleer All-Star, PSA 9. And I've been pretty picky along the way, not just with price, but left to right centering. They're often fairly far off left to right. This one's pretty spot on. The off is the top to bottom, and I'm always way more okay with a little movement top to bottom than I am left to right. It doesn't mess with my eyeballs nearly as much from the aesthetic standpoint. So, PC for basketball coming along a little bit. And then with that, I had this in a 10 and sold it for, I got some good money out of it. Didn't get it when it was absolute crazy, but like 2 months after that or something. I learned a lot of nefarious things that happen in eBay on the really high price stuff, because people were clicking buy it now and then never communicating, never buying it. And at that price point, you were limited at the time. I don't usually sell on eBay, but you were limited to how much you could sell. So if somebody clicked buy it now but never paid you, eBay still counted that level of purchase, that amount of purchase against you and your limitations on sales if you weren't, you know, a preferred seller, blah, 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 through them. And so then people were just basically letting things sell for super high, but not paying for them, and then selling their own things at like a little bit lesser level, but still they consider a more markup because they were, you know, bidding other cards up. So they did that with this in a PSA 10 and my Kobe in a PSA 10 that I'd sold when the craziness a few years ago happened. But always wanted to get it back, and finally did. This one is a little off left to right and a little off top to bottom. Surface is money in the bank, because obviously those centering issues are enough to knock it down by itself, and that's what it is. But I'm content with that. Wanted the 9, wanted the fresh Lighthouse label, and at least this generation's GOAT. I think he's the GOAT from a standpoint of the same as Tom Brady is a GOAT, with all the championships and all the other accolades and stuff like that. I would never call Tom Brady the best football player, but he is the GOAT, right? LeBron is definitely up there, but I grew up in the MJ era. If you watch the lethality that guy approached the game, that's to me, that's still different, but I'm a big LeBron fan. I was always an MJ hater, and man, I can't get that glare off. I was always an MJ hater, and by the end I realized, like, man, I cost myself a lot of opportunity of enjoyment by, you know, rooting against him all these years. And so when LeBron came along, I was like, I'm not going to do that. So I've been a fan of LeBron all along, and it's been a fun ride. And happy to add this one back in the PC, and that one's not going anywhere. So pretty cool. The 03 Chrome PSA 9. I think the 10s go for like 5 G's. Did not need to have that kind of money locked up into him. And I don't like to have cards that big sitting on the wall either. Not typically. I think I only have one that's that big on the wall currently. But that's what I got for you. Pretty sweet mail day. But I cannot promise that level of mail day on a regular basis. But happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a good week. And until next time, later.